model for the Lord, you got to stop tripping. I'm preaching, y'all ain't saying nothing. As a model, you got to walk it out. Genesis 5:22 says that after Enoch became the father of Methuselah, he walked with God. After he became a parent, he started walking with God. He wanted his children to see him walking with God. When he saw who was walking with him, he said, I better walk with him. And I'm trying to tell you, when you see who's behind you, that ought to make you get behind him. When you see who's walking with you, that ought to make you walk with him. I'll tell the story. His father came home in the winter in the snow. He was drunk. Footprints was all over the place. Trying to get up the porch. As he climbed the porch drunk, footprints all over the place, he heard some giggling behind him. He looked back, and now was his son. Putting his little feet in his daddy's strong footsteps. And the father saw his son literally following in his footsteps and said, "Stop, Junior! Stop! Don't move! Don't take another step! Don't follow in my footsteps!" And that father, next day, checked himself in the rehab. Because he saw his son literally following his footsteps. When you see who's following in your footsteps, it ought to make you watch your step.
Yeah. All right.
So number one, we ought to model for our children. Number two, we ought to mirror. We ought to be a mirror for our children. We ought to be a mirror for our children. Look at verse 4. Look at verse 4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. In other words, write this down. We are to mirror God's love for our children. Amen. Mirror God's love for our children. We have to teach our children from the time they are young that God's love is the ultimate love for their life. That God's love is the ultimate love for their lives. That nobody loves you more than God. You got to teach our children that nobody loves you more than God. Mama loves you, but nobody loves you more than God. Daddy loves you, but nobody loves you more than God. Your brother, your sister, friends may love you, but nobody loves you more than God. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever will believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. For God, the greatest love, so loved, the greatest degree of love, the world, the greatest object of love. He gave the greatest expression of love, his only begotten Son, the greatest gift of love, that whosoever will believe in him, the greatest plea of love, shall not perish, the greatest deliverance of love, but shall have everlasting life, the greatest result of love. We got to teach our children, John 15:13, no greater love than this. No greater. I know a man gonna tell you he love you one day, baby, but no greater love than this. I know a woman gonna tell you she love you one day, but no greater love than this. I know mama love you, I know daddy love you, but no greater love than this, that a man lay down his life for a friend. Romans 5:8, God demonstrated his love toward us while we were yet. Christ. I talked about this bus driver. He was taking them kids home from school and had to go down the steep mountain grade. And as he was going down that steep mountain grade, the brakes went out on the bus. And he was just trying to keep that bus under control. He knew if he steered it to the left too much, it would go over the embankment. And if he steered it to the right, it would go up against the mountain and would flip. He was just doing the best he could while children were screaming, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" He said, "Just hold on, babies, hold on." Yeah. And the bus driver remember that at the bottom of the hill, there was a gate that led into the pasture. He said, if I can just keep this bus under control long enough, I'll get to the gate. I'll hit the gate, we're going to the pasture, and the pasture will bring the bus to a slow stop. So he just did the best he could, trying to keep that bus under control. And as he was fastly approaching the gate, there was a little boy sitting on the gate waving at the bus. And the bus driver knew it was going to be too late to try anything. The bus was going so fast. If he tried something different, that bus was going to flip. He knew he was going to have to sacrifice this boy on the gate. And so as the bus approached the gate, hitting the gate, killing the little boy on impact, the bus driver screamed, "Ah! Ah!" As the pastor brought the bus to a slow stop, the bus driver kept screaming, "Ah! Called 911. Police came out. The fire department came out. Ambulance came out. Grandparents came out. Parents came out, finding their child, hugging their children. Grandparents hugging their children. And finally, after they got to embracing their children, a couple of parents said, "Where's that bus driver? We want to thank you." And they found a police officer and said, "Where's that bus driver? We want to thank you." He said, "Y'all don't hear him over there?" Ah! Ah! He's in the ambulance. He's still screaming. He's suffering with severe shock. And one of the parents said, "That's understandable because we know it was a little boy. There was a fatality. The little boy was killed. We know he had to kill the little boy in order to save our children. We understand." The police officer said, "No, you don't understand." They said, "What do you mean we don't understand?" The little boy that was on that gate was that bus driver's son. He sacrificed his son to save y'all's children. Y'all ain't playing with me. I'm trying to tell you that's what was happening. Hello, somebody. Humanity was spiraling out of control. Hello, somebody. And God sacrificed his son. I'm preaching, y'all ain't saying nothing. God sacrificed his son in order that we might be saved. You got to teach your children, baby, nobody loves you more than God. All right. Then you got to teach your children from the time they're young that God's love should be the ultimate love of their lives. Which means, baby, there's nobody you should love more than God. That's why, Glenn, you don't put nobody before God. That's why you don't base coming here on if they come. They didn't wake you up this morning. They didn't sacrifice their son for you. Y'all ain't playing with me. Because if you're not careful, you can make a God out of people. If you're not careful, you can worship even your own family. Everything you do for God should be based on God. And what God has done for you and the sacrifice he made for you. God's love should be the ultimate. Let's make it a text. It says, "Love the Lord your God." Means love him personally. Every time you come here, it's personal. Look at your neighbor and tell him it's personal. You hear me singing, it's personal. See me praising God, it's personal. See my hands go up, it's personal. Love the Lord, yo! You know one reason why it's so hard for us to praise God tonight? It's because your God ain't in here. If I told you to worship your God, really worship your God, some of y'all would have to go to the mirror. Some of y'all would have to go out there with your cows. Y'all ain't praying with me because some of y'all would have to go to the bank. Some of y'all would have to go out there with your vehicle. Some of y'all would have to go over there to your boyfriend. Some of y'all would have to go over there to your girlfriend, your wife. Whoever you put before God is your God. It said, "Love the Lord, your God." That means love him personally. And it said, "With all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength." That means love him passionately. And you ought to be passionate about God. Like you were last week at the Harmony. And Pillow.
You're more passionate about 50 Cent than you are Jesus. I'm preaching, y'all ain't seeing that. Y'all don't forgot who spared 50 Cent in the year 2000 of man.